Keep Sharp, Build a Better Brain at Any Age by Sanjay Gupta, MD. Picture this: the Iraqi desert, 2003, dust swirling through chaos. A young lieutenant takes a bullet to the back of his head and drops like a stone. Everyone thinks he's gone, but as they're preparing his body, something impossible happens. A pulse flickers back to life. He's alive, but barely hanging on by the thinnest thread. Now here's where fate gets interesting. Among the Navy doctors at that camp, there happened to be a neurosurgeon. But he wasn't there to operate. He was covering the war as a journalist. His name? Dr. Sanjay Gupta. The desperate doctors came running, begging him to swap his reporter's notebook for a surgeon's scalpel. The clock was ticking. So there he is, standing in a makeshift tent with none of the fancy equipment you'd find in a proper operating room. Dr. Gupta knows he has to relieve the massive pressure building inside this soldier's skull, and fast. What does he do? He grabs a regular Black & Decker drill, the kind you'd use to hang shelves, sterilizes the bit, and uses it to crack open the skull. It's desperate, it's brilliant, and it's pure improvisation under fire. Then he carefully removes the blood clot and shrapnel, giving the young man's swollen brain a fighting chance. Flash forward a few months. Dr. Gupta is back in the States when his phone rings. The young man, Jesus Vedana, hasn't just survived. He's actually recovering, doing well. His survival is a powerful testament to something extraordinary: the human brain's incredible ability to bounce back from even the most devastating trauma. That story captures everything you need to know about the man behind Keep Sharp. Dr. Sanjay Gupta isn't some ivory tower academic. He's CNN's chief medical correspondent and a practicing neurosurgeon who has literally held the living, pulsating human brain in his hands. He's witnessed both its fragility and its astonishing resilience up close. And in this book he delivers a message packed with hope, built on decades of scientific research and hands-on experience. His promise? That our greatest fears about aging, forgetting names, losing our edge, becoming shadows of ourselves, don't have to be our destiny. Cognitive decline isn't inevitable. Over the next few minutes, I'll share the powerful secrets hidden in these pages. We're going to tear down the destructive myths that have held us back for generations and replace them with a simple, practical blueprint for building a better brain. One that's not just protected from disease, but sharper, faster, and more resilient, no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. This isn't a book about living in dread of what's coming. It's a guide to creating the best possible future for your mind, starting right now. Let's kick things off with a simple question. What do you picture when you think of your brain? For most of us, it's a bit of a mystery, right? A gray, wrinkled mass, tucked away in what Dr. Gupta calls the inner black box of our skull. For centuries, we've treated it exactly that way, as something fixed, untouchable, and honestly, a little scary. The old story went something like this. You're born with a certain number of brain cells, and from that moment on, you're basically on a slow downhill slide. Life becomes a gradual process of losing what you started with. Every forgotten name, every time you can't find your keys, feels like confirmation of this depressing reality. Brain damage? Permanent. Mental decline? Just a natural, unavoidable part of getting old. But what if I told you that entire story is completely wrong? Over recent decades, there's been a quiet revolution happening in neuroscience, one that's shattered those old beliefs and replaced them with something far more exciting. Scientists have made two game-changing discoveries. The first is called neurogenesis. It's beautifully simple, but world-changing. Our brains can, and do, create brand new brain cells throughout our entire lives. You're not stuck with what you were born with. Your brain is more like a living, growing garden than a fixed stone sculpture. The second discovery is neuroplasticity, and this one's even more powerful. Your brain isn't hardwired like an old computer. It's constantly remodeling itself, forming fresh connections and pathways in response to your experiences, your thoughts, and your actions. Every time you learn a new skill, meet someone new, or even just think a new thought, you're physically reshaping the structure of your brain. Think about the incredible story of Phineas Gage, a railroad worker back in the 1800s. A horrific accident sent a massive iron rod straight through his head, destroying a huge chunk of his brain's frontal lobe. Miraculously, he lived. But he changed dramatically. The polite, well-mannered guy vanished, replaced by someone impulsive and unreliable. His story became the first real proof that specific brain regions control personality. But here's the part that often gets forgotten. In his later years, some accounts suggest Gage started getting some of his old, more agreeable personality back. His brain, even after such catastrophic damage, was trying to heal itself, to rewire around the destruction. It was an early glimpse of neuroplasticity in action. This new understanding that our brains can grow, change, and heal is the bedrock of everything in Keep Sharp. It's the source of the book's infectious optimism. Your brain isn't just passively aging. It's an active participant in shaping its own future, and you're the one holding the reins. But if our brains are so wonderfully adaptable, why do they sometimes fail us? Why are we terrified of conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia? To build a better brain, we need to understand what can weaken it. Dr. Gupta explains that when things go sideways, it's often because of two troublemakers gunking up the works inside our heads. Think of them as villains in our story. First up are amyloid plaques, sticky toxic clumps that build up between brain cells, jamming their communication signals. Second are tau tangles, twisted fibers that accumulate inside brain cells, choking them from within. For years, scientists obsessed over these plaques and tangles. But a bigger picture has emerged. The real key player? Inflammation. Dr. Gupta uses a vivid metaphor. If plaques are the match that starts the fire, and tangles are the brush fires that spread, then neuroinflammation is the raging forest fire doing the most damage, torching healthy brain cells in its path. This inflammation gets triggered by many things: poor diet, chronic stress, lousy sleep. Now here's the crucial myth. Dr. Gupta is determined to crush. Dementia, in any form, is not a normal part of aging. It's a disease. Forgetting where you put your keys? Normal. Forgetting what keys are for? Not normal. And because it's a disease, it often has causes we can actually influence. Many of the risk factors are tied to lifestyle, the very choices we make every single day. This brings us to the heart of the book. If our brains are capable of change, and we understand what harms them, what can we do to help them thrive? Dr. Gupta lays out a simple yet profound framework, the owner's manual for the brain we never received. He calls them the 5 pillars of brain health: move, discover, relax, nourish, and connect. Let's explore them together. Pillar 1, move. If you asked Dr. Gupta for the single most important thing you can do for your brain, his answer would be one word: exercise. And this isn't just about keeping your waistline in check. It's about fundamentally changing your brain's biology. When you move your body, especially in ways that get your heart pumping, you trigger the release of a miraculous protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Dr. John Ratey, a neuropsychiatrist at Harvard, famously dubbed BDNF, Miracle Grow for the Brain. That's exactly what it is. BDNF nurtures the growth of new brain cells, protects existing ones, and encourages fresh connections between them. Exercise also battles our enemy, inflammation. It helps regulate blood sugar, which, when too high, becomes toxic to the brain. And it boosts blood flow, delivering rich supplies of oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your mind. Here's the beautiful part. You don't need to become a marathon runner. The research is crystal clear that even brisk walking, getting your heart rate up for about 30 minutes, 5 days a week, can have powerful protective effects. As Dr. Gupta likes to say, just try to break a sweat every day. Pillar 2. Discover. Your brain thrives on challenge. Just like your muscles, it operates on a use-it-or-lose-it principle. This brings us to cognitive reserve. Imagine your brain is a city. Your cognitive reserve is like building a vast, interconnected network of roads, bridges, and highways. If one road gets blocked, or in the brain's case, by damage or a plaque, a brain with high cognitive reserve has countless alternate routes to get messages where they need to go. It can navigate around problems. How do you build this reserve? By learning new things. But here's the secret. It has to be something both new and cognitively complex. This is why the old do a crossword puzzle a day advice is kind of a myth. If you're already good at crosswords, doing another one is like driving down a familiar road. It doesn't build new pathways. Instead, challenge yourself with something outside your comfort zone. Learn a new language, pick up a musical instrument, take a class in something completely unfamiliar. That's what builds a resilient, adaptable brain. This pillar also connects to having a sense of purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, your reason for getting up in the morning. Studies show that people who retire and completely disengage from challenging activities face higher dementia risk. Staying engaged, feeling like you have a reason to learn and contribute, is one of the most powerful forms of brain protection available. Pillar 3. Relax. In our busy, always connected world, we treat rest as optional. Dr. Gupta argues it's a biological necessity. This pillar tackles two of the brain's sneakiest enemies, chronic stress and sleep deprivation. First, sleep. We used to think sleep was just the brain powering down. Now we know it's one of the most active and important periods for our minds. While you sleep, your brain performs critical maintenance. Dr. Gupta calls it the rinse cycle. A remarkable network called the glymphatic system kicks into overdrive, acting like a power-washing crew that flushes out metabolic waste and toxic proteins, including those sticky amyloid plaques that accumulate during waking hours. When you consistently skimp on sleep, you're robbing your brain of this essential cleaning service. The junk piles up, night after night, increasing inflammation and raising cognitive decline risk. The target is 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep nightly. It's not laziness, it's medicine. The second part of relaxing is taming stress. When chronically stressed, your body floods with cortisol. Short cortisol bursts can be helpful, but constant flow is toxic to the brain, particularly the hippocampus, your memory center. Chronic stress can literally shrink your memory hub. Finding ways to unwind isn't indulgent. It's critical brain maintenance. This doesn't need to be complicated. Simple practices like deep breathing, spending time in nature, or meditation can powerfully counteract stress effects and protect your brain long-term. Pillar 4. Nourish. You are what you eat is especially true for your brain. This incredible organ, making up only about 2% of your body weight, consumes a whopping 20% of your body's energy. It's incredibly hungry, and what you feed it matters immensely. The nutrition advice in Keep Sharp is wonderfully simple, captured in the acronym SHARP. S is for /sugar. Excess sugar is one of the biggest inflammation drivers in body and brain. Chronic high blood sugar can lead to brain insulin resistance, what some scientists call type 3 diabetes. Your brain cells essentially starve because they can't access needed fuel. H is for hydrate. Your brain is about 73% water. Even mild dehydration can impair attention, memory, and other cognitive skills. Often when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. A is for add omega-3s. Your brain is the fattiest organ in your body, with large portions built from omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats are essential for maintaining healthy brain cells. Find them in foods like fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, plus flax seeds and walnuts. R is for reduce portions. In our supersized world, simple calorie control is powerful. Overeating creates huge metabolic stress on your body, translating to brain stress. P is for plan ahead. The easiest way to eat junk is getting caught hungry without healthy options. Planning meals and keeping healthy snacks handy ensures you're feeding your brain, not fighting against it. Pillar 5. Connect. This final pillar might be the most surprising and perhaps the most deeply human. Despite all the biology and chemistry talk, one of the most powerful brain boosters is connecting with other people. For over 80 years, the Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest-running human life studies ever, has tracked thousands of people. They've examined cholesterol, careers, wealth, genes. When researchers distilled it down to find the single greatest predictor of a long, healthy, happy life, it wasn't money or fame. It was relationship quality. Loneliness, they discovered, is toxic. Feeling isolated creates chronic stress responses, driving up inflammation and harming not just emotional well-being but physical brain health. Meaningful social connection, conversely, powerfully buffers against stress. It stimulates the brain in complex ways and helps build that all-important cognitive reserve. Dr. Gupta points to traditions in Okinawa, Japan, known for incredible longevity. They have a concept called moai, a small group of friends supporting each other throughout life, through ups and downs. This built-in social safety net is a cornerstone of their health and well-being. So call a friend, join a club, volunteer, have a meaningful conversation. These aren't just nice gestures. They're essential acts of brain maintenance. To weave all these pillars together, the book offers a practical 12-week program, a step-by-step guide to gradually incorporate these habits into daily life. It reminds us this isn't about radical overnight transformation. It's about making small, consistent choices that, over time, build a stronger, healthier, sharper brain. It's about proving to yourself, day by day, that your brain's best years aren't behind you. They're still ahead. As we wrap up our journey through Keep Sharp, what resonates most isn't some complex scientific formula or rigid rulebook. It's a profound and liberating sense of empowerment. For so long, conversations around brain health have been dominated by fear. Fear of a genetic lottery we can't win, fear of inevitable decline we can't escape. Dr. Gupta's greatest contribution is completely changing that conversation. He replaces fear with hope and fatalism with action. The most powerful lesson from these pages? The fate of our brain isn't sealed at birth. It's being written every single day by the choices we make. Our genes may load the gun, but it's our lifestyle that pulls the trigger, and that's incredibly good news, because lifestyle is something we control. This isn't a book demanding you become someone else. It simply asks you to become a more conscious, caring steward of the incredible organ creating your entire reality. It doesn't demand perfection. It celebrates progress. It shows us that building a better brain isn't about mysterious, complicated secrets. It's about returning to fundamental, timeless truths of healthy human living. So how can you start applying these powerful ideas right now, today? I'd suggest 3 simple things. First, just move. Later today, take a brisk walk. For 20 or 30 minutes, get your heart rate up. Feel the blood flowing. Remember, you're not just exercising your body. You're giving your brain a dose of that Miracle-Gro protein, BDNF. It's the single best investment you can make in your mind. Second, connect. Pick up the phone and call a friend or family member you haven't spoken to lately. Don't text. Call. Have a real conversation. Ask how they are and truly listen. That simple act of human connection is a powerful antidote to loneliness's toxic stress and a wonderful workout for your brain's social circuits. Third, discover something new. It doesn't need to be big. Read an article about an unfamiliar topic. Watch a documentary on a historical event you've never explored. Use your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth tonight. Do something nudging your brain out of comfortable ruts, forcing it to build tiny new pathways. The beauty of the brain, as Dr. Gupta reminds us, is it's perhaps the only organ that can actually get stronger as we age. Muscles may weaken, eyesight may fade, but our minds can continue growing in wisdom, resilience, and sharpness if we care for them. Your brain is the architect of your life story. It holds every memory, every lesson, every moment of joy. This book is the blueprint for ensuring that architect stays brilliant, creative, and strong for all the years ahead. That was a summary of Keep Sharp by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. We've explored the main ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map is useful, showing you the layout, but it can never replace actually walking the trails, meeting the people, discovering hidden treasures yourself. If any ideas we've discussed, the power of neuroplasticity, the 5 pillars of health, the simple, actionable steps to protect your mind, have sparked something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy of the book. Reading it is more than just learning. It's an investment in your mind's future, and there's no greater investment you can make. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if this journey through Keep Sharp has been valuable to you, please take a moment to like this summary and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another book with the power to change your life. Thank you for listening, and let's continue building our best selves together.